listening to Her Profit Era, the podcast for founders who want a business that actually works. A business that's profitable, predictable, and pays them well. I am Cindy Kumar, a CPA, a fractional CFO from Abbotsford, BC, Canada. I'm the person founders call when they're tired of high revenue months with no money left over. I started this podcast because too many founders were chasing sales while their margins, cash flow, and bank accounts told a completely different story. I believe profit and money in the bank is the standard, not a bonus, and that every founder deserves clarity around their numbers. Each week, you'll get real financial strategy you can actually use and honest conversations with founders and industry experts about what it really takes to build a business that lasts. Today's guest is someone who didn't just build a brand, she built an entirely new category. I'm sitting down with Missy, the founder of MisMacK Cosmetics and the creator of Gameplay Eyeblack, a clean, high-performance product now used in professional sports. What started in a basement in Canoe, BC, became a business that blends clean beauty, elite performance, and sports. Three worlds that don't usually collide. Missy saw a gap in the industry that wasn't being solved. Beauty that actually performs, clean products that don't compromise under pressure, and she decided to build that herself. That belief took her onto Dragon's Den, into rooms with major decision makers, and ultimately into partnerships with professional sports, organizations like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But what I really want to talk about today isn't just the wins. We're talking about what it takes to redefine two industries at the same time. The resilience required to walk into male-dominated spaces as a women founder. And the discipline it takes to build something innovative without losing your values. This conversation is for founders with ideas that don't fit neatly into a box, for women building in rooms where they're still the exception, and for anyone who's been told their idea is too different for it to even work. Missy's story is proof that the future belongs to founders who are willing to challenge the rules and execute anyways. So let's get into it. Hi, Missy. Thanks so much for joining me on Her Profit Era today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Cindy. I'm so excited to be here.
We had connected in Calgary at the Dragon's Den anniversary event. We briefly spoke, but I felt like there was so much more to your story.
Oh, thank you. It was awesome meeting you. And yeah, we touched base on you asked me one question and it went deep for like 1 minute. So I can't imagine what this is gonna take, what we're gonna bring and talk about today.
Could you just share a little bit about yourself, how you started MisMacK Cosmetics?
Yeah, so I'm Missy Mackintosh. I'm from Salmon Arm, BC. Currently, I actually live in Canoe, BC, just outside of Salmon Arm. And I started MisMacK Clean Cosmetics from a need. I've been a professional makeup artist for over 25 years. And when I got into clean beauty, I couldn't find products that actually worked. Not only that, at that time, I found a lot of the clean beauty products were also very marketed to more of the granola side, something you'd
Right.
find in the health food store, right? And then the performance itself was not at all for a creative makeup artist like myself. I used to work for Makeup Forever. I actually opened a counter in Calgary back in the day and started at a very young age into cosmetic retailing. And when 2017 hit, really was starting the shift of indie beauty was really starting to take off. So if I could find an amazing manufacturer and chemist willing to work with me, that we could create something super magical. And here we are 7 years later.
Wow. What was the journey just finding the right type of person and kind of curating the products?
I'm a firm believer in the power of manifestation, and it was actually Portia Ella in Winnipeg who hired me to do a clean beauty campaign for their new store. So essentially, they're like a clean beauty Sephora, where they have only clean beauty made in Canada, all female owned. And that's where they actually opened my eyes to how self-regulated the industry was. And it was through the power of networking in the industry that I met the most amazing female chemist out of Manitoba. And I pitched to her, I'm like, I want to be like the Makeup Forever of the clean beauty world. Like, if Danny Sands can do this in Paris back in like the late 90s, like early 80s when she started, I knew that I could create something magic. And she's like, yes, I totally see it. Time invested 2 years with me, which is unheard of. And literally below my feet is my basement of where I started this. And while she was in Manitoba, and we formulated back and forth, and I looked after everything else from learning how to build a website to package designing to exporting to like all of these things, shipping. Yeah, yet alone, like how do we even ship? Like we literally didn't have a shipping like printer thing until a year ago. Like that's like the kind of things we would hand tape it and cut it, right? It's just those little things that you don't really realize how far you come until you look back. But it was a crazy process. A lot of people still to this day, like, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, I don't know how I did it either, but I just did it. I had this feel within me, and I wasn't, and I'm not going to stop until I achieve all my goals. So yeah, it was it's like still a crazy ride to this day.
Yeah, I feel like your journey has been so inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been really cool. What every day now, especially with the publicity with Dragon's Den and now pioneering sports color cosmetics and working with the Bombers and the CFL, so many local women are coming in and be like, this is so cool. I'm just learning about you now. And it's been 7 years. Like I've had my store coming up in April will be our 5th year anniversary. And people are just starting to understand who we are and that we're here. So it's pretty cool.
And then when did you get the idea of like the eye black?
Yeah. In 2023, so a little bit of history. So in 2021, I opened my first store in Salmon. And then I was crazy enough to open a store 5 months later in Victoria. And then in 2022, at the end of that, my dad's health really declined where I was forced to step away. He was diagnosed with dementia. I had to put him into assisted living. It was really, really hard. And in 2023, in January, he actually passed away. So in 23, it was a really dark time for me. And my son plays not professional yet, I should say. He's a high performing baseball player. And at that time, he was 12. He was 12. And just seeing the amount of eye black that these kids are putting on, and we wouldn't let him wear it because I knew the ingredients that were in it. And my husband always joked, he's like, you should make an eye black. And I'm like, not our lane. Like, I don't really, no, it's all good. But now after seeing it, I looked at Evan and I was like, do you want to make an eye black? Essentially, it's like a dense lipstick. And we have the manufacturing, right? And he's like, yes, I do. So it was a fun mother-son project where he created all of it. He did the logo design with me. He did the design of the actual packaging to formulating with my chemist. Like, it was wild. And it made him understand what trademarking was because we were going to call it Game On, but Game On was heavily trademarked. So we came up with Gameplay. And so at that point, I already pitched on Dragon's Den twice to audition. I shouldn't say pitched. I would make it on the show. I pitched twice in my basement. Never made it yet. And I wasn't actually going to apply again. And with him, I was like, do you want to do this? Like, why don't we pitch this on Dragon's Den? Like, this would be super cool. I have never seen a mother-son on TV. Let's go and do it. And he's like, okay. So we pitched and we made it on the show and it was life-changing. It was literally a fun mother-son project. I had no idea what to do with it because I had full cosmetics company. We do hair and makeup for weddings. We do free pampering sessions. I have retailers. And then I have the sports product. And little did I know when I pitched, and even in 2024, like last year, that this would pioneer sports color cosmetics. So this is literally what's on my eye with the biodegradable glitter over top. And you can use it on your lips. You can use it as a theater paint. It's pretty amazing product.
How old was your son at the time when you guys started creating this?
He was 12. No, I guess he would have been 11. Sorry. He was 11 when we created it and 12 when we pitched on Dragon's Den.
Wow, that's so impressive and so inspiring.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, kind of, it was just a fun thing to do together to like just to bring some joy back into our hearts after a loss. So, and yeah, here we are.
What was it like preparing for Dragon's Den?
Well, honestly, I have the best community, and a girlfriend of mine that I met at Uplift when I met Jamie Kern Lima there, she was one of the organizers of it. And her and her husband put together a little mock dragon's den for my son
Aw.
and I in Chilliwack with like full camera equipment, like full panel of like some of these were like CEOs of a diamond mine, like really
Wow.
big up there people in Vancouver. And she got us to come and do like a practice pitch. And those dragons were actually harder on me than when I actually pitched in the den. And it was funny. I was on my way. Like Evan and I had our like audition tape, right? Like we had our like 10 whatever elevator pitch done, and I'm driving, and I'm like, what are we gonna say after? Like I don't like what am I gonna say after? And
Yeah.
so it really forced me. Like I'm so grateful that we had that opportunity because then when we went, the pressure for me, the pressure wasn't as intimidating if it was just me doing it for MisMacK. It was a fun thing to do with my son, and to honestly to get the advice that we got, I'm forever grateful that we had this opportunity and this memories. Like I can look back, I can go online and watch that episode over and over and over and over again and still pick up little things, and it brings me right back to that exact time of us holding hands walking into the den.
It must be such a proud mom moment too.
It was. It was like when you see the doors, right, in the hallway
Yeah.
before you walk into the den, and they give you like a couple minutes because they want to get shots of you, right? Of like this
Right.
moment walking in, and Evan and he held my hand, and he's like breathing out. He's like, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry," because
Aw.
he knew what it meant for, especially for my dad. He used to play fastball in Alberta in the 70s and was quite high up and in sports, and so it was a really like a great dedication to him too, and him watching down on us. And it was just a surreal moment that I tried years and years to get on the show, and I finally got to do it with my son at my side.
That's such a beautiful moment.
It was. Yeah, thank you.
And what was it like trying to promote Eyeblack? Just like sports being such like a male dominated kind of like industry and space.
Having Evan really helped that. So he became the face of it. And then my really good friend, who we actually have the puppy sister, she's right beside me. We're
Aw.
like this big puppy family. And Jazzy, her daughter, is this fierce little athlete who's the captain of her hockey team. Like she's just this
Wow.
fierce little go-getter. And she became the face of the Grit Kids. And it ended up it took its own light, like it took its own form and just really kicked off. Um, I didn't know what the world would think because it's an eye black. It's kind of like this forgot. Even like when you go to ship it to the States, you don't know what category to put it in because it goes on the skin, but it's not makeup. It's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of this gray area. And once we got into the CFL, actually it was Dragon's Den. To be quite honest with you, Dragon's Den turned our episode basically into an infomercial for a gameplay eye
Wow.
black. I was actually pitching the kits, so the grit kits is what I came in there with. I came in with 2 and left with 1 because Arlene bought my prototype off of me after,
Wow.
and that's what I thought they were going to make the pitch because that's what I was pitching, and they
Yeah.
didn't. There's one shot of Arlene passing it to Brian in the episode, and that's it. And then it's all about Eyeblack,
Yeah.
which is great. I did not expect it. And that's really kicked off Sports Color Cosmetics is the help of the Dragon's Den to bring it to the world.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
And how is it like being at like the anniversary event and being part of like the market?
It was really cool. I was really honored that it was been like you see the ones that happen in Toronto every year.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm like, Michael, I want to be there. I want to be one of those people. I want to be one at like with the vendor. And when they had Calgary, I was like, yes, like my schedule was free. We didn't have weddings that over that time. And it was just a dream of mine. And then to have the Bombers deal. So the Bombers deal was right before that, and it was supposed to launch right before that Dragon's Den
Oh wow.
celebration, so we could talk about it.
Yeah.
But due to with CBC launching the story with us and the announcement with us, there's technical delays, so
Yeah.
it had to be pushed back the following week. But the Bombers wanted me to make sure that all of Dragon's Den knew that we're the first ever cosmetics company to partner with the CFL team. So they were like, you tell those dragons what you're doing and that you're working with us. Like it was pretty cool. And to have Manjeep come up, and she was the hardest on me. And she
Yeah.
even said, like, if it was just eye black, I'd be totally in. And so to say to her, like, we just signed the first ever partnership with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in all of Canada. No other cosmetics company has done that in Canada. And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm really happy to hear that. So it was
That
really cool.
That's so cool. And did you have to like apply to be a part of like the market? What was that kind of process like? Or they just
No,
reached out to you?
they reach out to you. Yeah. So, because you're part of the alumni now. So
Okay.
when they reached out based on your demographic and all of that, and whether you can make it or not, and I'm sure they have a list of people that can't make it, and so you get onto the next list. And yeah, they just
Yeah.
reached out. We We're really great at marketing, I have to say, my small little team, and because it took us so long to get a debut date with Dragon's Den,
Yeah.
we took Denny the dragon, and we were the first one to market him. So I named him Denny after, because when you pitch on the Den, you get like a little bag, right? You get a certificate, you get merch, you get a
Yeah.
book. We got books from Brian, and then you get this dragon, this stuffed dragon, and we took him around our local community and we did interviews with him on if our community thought we got a deal or not. And we made him kind of famous. And then at the debut, so we didn't air on cable. We were actually cut. We were supposed to be one of the finales, and the network cut 2 of the episodes. So we were the very first
Wow.
web production, the web exclusive. And you can tell with the way that it was edited, it was ready for cable.
Yeah.
So I had to get over that little heartbreak, and we
Aw.
turned it into this huge event in Salmon Arm. We brought in Aaron Volpatti, who's a former NHL player with the Canucks,
Wow.
and he spoke, and then we all watched it together, and then we all went on the panel, and I ended up auctioning off 2 Denny's to Kids Sport. So we now have a national partnership with Kids Sport Canada with the Grit Kids. And we raised like $7,000 that night for Kids Sport, which was
Wow.
so cool. And yeah, it was just an amazing, crazy, crazy ordeal. But it just goes to show that just because you don't, even if you're on Dragon's Den, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to air on cable, and it's all how you flip it. So now Dragon's Den actually uses us as an example of how to market, and even if you don't air, that
Yeah.
magic can still happen, but it's all how you portray it and how you spin it and how you view it. So I've known other pitchers who were embarrassed that they didn't air, and they were embarrassed of the way that the outcome of it, and they didn't talk about it at all. And then there's other ones like Elite Cosmetics. She actually pitched the day before, like the day after me, in the like we were both in the studio and came around the corner, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, like, she kind of got hammered on, but she flipped it. She flipped the narrative and talked about it, and it's just such a neat experience to be able to have that.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like everyone goes into it, like everyone wants the deal and the exposure, but it's like, how can you take that rejection and like create like your next opportunity from that?
It's so true. There's 2 ways of looking. You kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, like on some of them. Of course, you're in there for 45 minutes and you don't know that the conversations that are going on and how they clip it together at the end of it for whatever 7 to 15-minute segment.
Yeah.
Depends on what, right? So you don't know how they're going to flip the script or what they're going to make you look like. You have no idea. And of course, it's a TV show, so drama, like they want drama.
So true. Yeah.
Um but like when I walked in and I actually have a whole keynote on failing into your flow. And for Arlene to look at me and say that you're scared of failing, I can see, like, I know exactly what you're doing because I had 3 stores at that time. She's like, you're afraid of failing. You're afraid of betting on yourself and really just going after it, because so then you come up with a new thing. You come up with a new thing instead of focusing on the one that you have. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, how did you know? Like, I didn't even know and then when she said
Yeah.
it, I was like, that makes so much sense. And yeah,
Yeah.
it made so much sense. Little did they know that 10 days after we pitched, I flew home and had to close down Victoria.
Oh
So
no.
it was, the pivots were starting to happen and the restructuring was starting to happen while I was literally in the den. So it was, yeah, crazy.
Just the timing. And then now, do you only have like one location?
We do, yeah. So we pivoted away from Kelowna in May. It was only in June, actually, only in June of this year, to focus on national growth. I knew that something was coming down the pipeline. We trademarked Sports Color Cosmetics back in May, spelt 4 different ways, as a category owner, which is
Oh, that's
huge.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we knew something big was happening. We didn't know. We actually pitched to the riders first because the riders were the first ones to switch to us.
Yeah.
And we all know Rider Nation, right? The Rider Nation is amazing and they're super loyal. And so when we pitched to them, they were like, yeah, like, let's talk. And then I actually opened up shares for my community to invest into me ever since Dragon's Den, even before it. I've had so many people approach me and be like, can we invest? And I wasn't ready, and now we are. And one of my investors was like, have you thought about getting to the Grey Cup? And I'm like, no, but we
Yeah.
should do that. And we did, and we were just trying to get to the Grey Cup, and the Bombers were like, "No, no, 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 no. We wanna be the first to partner with you. We see the fans, like, the fans," and that's exactly what we see too. It's the fans rocking the same Eyeblack that their favorite players are wearing, and then with the sparkle, it just adds your fan expression and your, like, team spirit. So,
Yeah.
they wouldn't take no for an answer, and they were kinda like I'm like, "You do know the writers are gonna be, like, pissed, right?" And they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we know." So then they'll be next. I mean, it's all fun competition. I love working with the CFL. I honestly have never worked with so many amazing humans in my entire life who've just opened it up and I feel like I'm home. I feel like we're finally in alignment instead of chasing because the cosmetics industry is so saturated. And I never really felt it in my small town. I'm in Salmon Arm where we don't really have much competition. But getting
Right.
outside of that, it's like a chase. Like I felt the chase. And now that we're pioneering something different and something that's so embedded in my soul with my son playing sports, my husband played sports, I played golf growing up, I played hockey growing up.
Yeah.
And it's so aligned and
Yeah.
it flows and it just feels we can't wait for 2026.
That's exciting. And are you just focused on like football only or like sports in general?
No, no, sports in general. So we're in connects with an NHL team. We're also working with cross country skiers. We have an Olympian here in Salmon Arm, Paralympian. They rock it. So it's baseball, of course. We've gotten our products into Savannah Bananas. Uh, the party animals use us. So it's basically anything that you can think of that puts eye black on, or even now hockey players too. They use it as a team spirit. And then for dance and for theater, like it's the best theater paint ever. And it's safe on these kids that we're putting makeup on. Like, and I say this because it just happened on Saturday. We have a local production school doing The Lion King. And it's like crazy makeup. And the teacher, she's like, I didn't even think of it, but I ordered stuff
Yeah.
like special effects makeup. And a lot of the kids end up having hives or breaking out from it or causing
Right.
rashes. And she's like, I didn't even think about coming into MisMacK. And we hooked her up. And she came back 2
Yeah.
days later to show me the demo or like their practice. And she's like, this is amazing. The kids are loving it. And it's so easy. So there's so many different sides that we can do with the sports color cosmetics. And I think that's the hardest part in marketing. It's the marketing of what this eye black can do because it's not just an eye black. Yes, you see it on all the athletes, right? You see it all of the West except for Edmonton, yet they're all wearing it. So now it's
Yeah.
like switching. It's like, okay, but it's also an eye makeup. It's also can be the best black lipstick. Like, what
Yeah.
is going on? So it's just learning and just keeping on talking about it and sharing that and how you can do that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the part that it's kind of because we're new. And when it's new, it takes a while to catch on. So
Yeah, totally. And
yeah.
how's like your son like feeling all about like the CFL and all like the momentum catching
He's
up now?
pretty excited. Yeah, he's very much looking forward to the home opener of the Bombers on June 11th in Winnipeg. He'll be there. I don't think that he would miss it, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm going to be there. And even at the Grey Cup, like the Bombers, the team that I'm working with, they kept asking
Yeah.
me like, well, where's that? Like, why couldn't Evan come to the Grey Cup? Like, why isn't
Aw.
Evan here? And like
Yeah.
for him to be part of it, he helped fill all those grit kits for the CFL that we sent to them to have on consignment because you never know um
Right.
what would happen. But yeah, he helped fill them. He's just thinks it's just so cool. And then when the riders, of course, the first to switch, and they were in the Grey Cup, and he's back here at home wearing all of his Saskatchewan
Aw.
Roughriders gear. That yeah, it's pretty cool. He's just yeah. I think the world is our oyster, and our goal is to make this a global brand, global brand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And I feel like he's probably inspiring like so many kids his age in his school of like what's possible even from being from a small town.
It's true. They use they use our Dragon's Den episode a lot in his
Aw.
school. And they're like and his friends are like he won't say anything, but his friends are like, yeah, Evan was on Dragon's Den or like let's
Yeah.
watch his episode. And I'm coming in and talking a lot to his school too. So he's like he doesn't talk about it. His friends all the school, the community do it for him.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. Like no other kid in our little community. I don't even ever has
Yeah.
ever been on Dragon's Den. So yeah,
That's pretty
he's
cool.
loving it. Yeah.
And like do you just sell your products online or like in store only?
Yeah, so we have a couple different avenues. So we are available at participating Source for Sports across Canada, mostly in Western Canada. So we don't have one in Calgary yet. We're working on Tuxedo, working on
Yeah.
Source for Sports there. We ship globally from Salmon Arm. So our website, we are able to ship globally from there. We have our in-store in Salmon Arm, where we do free pampering sessions all day, every day. And
Oh,
then we
wow.
have two premier retailers right now. And a premier retailer is basically like a mini MisMacK store inside their establishment where they offer free pampering sessions and retail all of MisMacK. So Portia Ellen, Winnipeg, and then by Charlie Madison in Maple Ridge. And we have a little local love program. So we have retailers in Kelowna, the Green Vanity retails us. Who else? The Green Vanity. Yeah, we've kind of stepped back from wholesale, but now we're opening it back up. So we are looking for amazing businesses to work with. And then we have our town ambassadors. So what started as an accident of me putting Salmon Arm on the back of my salmon art shadow on the label sparked an entire movement where it went viral, and all of BC basically nominated their small towns or big cities,
Wow.
communities where our art shadows were renamed after. So it kicked off a rooted town ambassador program, and we've been beta testing it for the last 4 months, and it has been amazing. So now we're going to be opening it up to across Canada. So you
Wow.
don't have to have any experience. Like, I actually would prefer you not to have any experience. It's not for influencers. It's just for everyday people who love makeup or MisMacK, or even a lot of them have never even heard of us before and work with us, post, they love their products, and that's it. They're just sharing the love of the community. And then, yeah, they have an opportunity to make some commission and get free products. It's just been really cool. Really, really cool. So,
That's so cool. I feel like you have such like good marketing. Do you have a marketing background or like
no,
do you have a team hired?
No, it's just me. Me and
Wow.
Jessica Ray. Yeah. So we each have our lane. Jessica Ray is a professional photographer by trade, actually. She's the redhead that you see in all the videos. She was actually my first investor and my chief brand officer. And then I do all the reels, all the Instagram. So
Wow.
she does the imaging, website, blog, all that side. And then I do the execution of the reels and all of it. And I actually really, really do love it. And then Katie manages the store. So Katie's my store director. She's the blonde that you see on TikTok,
Yeah.
and she does the makeup applications for weddings and all of that. I'm actually stepping back and retiring, semi-retiring, I say this, from weddings as a professional makeup artist, as I put my full CEO hat on to build this massive movement. So it's very exciting.
That was actually my next question on like how you manage your time in between like doing the makeup plus Eyeblack and everything you're growing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned to lean into AI very strategically. I would not be able to have this much growth and execute it the way that we've been executing it without the help of AI. Um, I've learned that managing my energy is a really big superpower. So anything that I don't feel good doing, I don't do anymore. Where before I would just do everything. I would say yes to everything, and I would
Yeah.
do all the makeup, I would do all the hair, and I would be incredibly burnt out. And now having those boundaries, learning boundaries and saying no, and just listening to what fuels me, like podcasts. I love doing podcasts. It fuels me to talk about this journey. It fuels me to share the story. I love doing reels. I love doing fun marketing stuff. And yeah, it's just taken its own time to and a lot of breakdowns to realize that something needs to change in order to make this to grow this. So
Do you have any like big kind of setbacks that you experience other than like having to shut down your stores and like pivoting?
massive. So massive financials too, especially with Victoria. So Victoria, we had issues with construction 6 months after we opened. That was out of
Oh,
our
no.
control.
Yeah.
And then with my dad passing, we had massive forest fires here with both my salmon arm and Kelowna. We were actually supposed to open Kelowna the Tuesday after the fires struck the Okanagan.
Oh
Like,
no.
and then you have the shoe shop fires, and my salmon arm store is my bread and butter, and this community is devastated, that community is devastated, and it took us like, we're just getting out of it now, I have to say. So we've had a lot of financial setbacks with MisMacK, a lot of personal loss here
Yeah.
too, that when it's a one-man, not quite a one-man show, but the person that's at the leading this goes through some personal things. It's hard to keep the ball going. I did it. Here we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot more struggles on the other side of it than what I lead to. Yes, I cry a lot on the internet, but there's a lot more tears than what I even showed. But if it wasn't for those failures, we wouldn't be where we are today, and I wouldn't be this person I am in front of on your podcast with you either. So
Yeah.
every single moment, I believe that every single moment was meant to happen. Every single struggle had to happen.
Yeah.
And failure is part of the game. And it's what you do with it.
So true. What was
Yeah.
it like bringing like investors in? Because it's such a big deal, like giving away equity in something like you've built from like nothing.
Yeah. It changed me for the better because I wasn't by myself anymore. I have learned to, I guess I was very much a people pleaser before.
Yeah.
And I originally started with a partner, and it didn't go the way that we wanted to. It ended in the best ways possible. And then it was 100% me the moment that in March of after Shoe Shop Entrepreneur. And so when Jessica Ray came in, one, the Dragons didn't invest, which led Jessica's like, well, what about me? And she's in the grind with me. And it changed me. It made me work harder. It's make me work smarter because it's not just about me anymore.
Yeah.
It's leading this community, and I thrive off of community. I thrive off of other people's energy too, and being part of this. I had to be very strategic, not just friends, family, and business associates are the ones that are able to invest, so it's not open to the public. But I've
Okay.
had to vetoed a lot of some people that just the energetic fit wasn't there.
Yeah.
Um, right? And I have to make sure that that is there in order for this to be prosperous, and also to respect my investors that have come on board. So we have about 12 spots left, which is very exciting. And it just like, honestly, was my investor who said, let's get you to like, why don't you try to get to the Grey Cup? Okay. Right. And the ones that are
Right.
like rah-rahing you on, it gives me fuel to this amazing fire that of where like of what we are doing and my why. So it's been amazing.
How was like the timing of it? Do you wish like you brought in an investor sooner or did you feel
No.
like it was right timing?
No, the timing, I wasn't ready. Like I wasn't personally ready. I wasn't the person um on the inside ready for that responsibility either, because it would have been gone. I would have opened another store. I would have done something, probably something that wouldn't be where we are today. And I think I knew that deep down because a lot of people approached me about investing. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, like I can like, no, I don't even know what that means. And I
Right.
have to say, it's the power of, again, AI, of talking it through and understanding it and having that like, okay, yeah, I can totally do this. And you look at other people of what they've done, and the big brands like It Cosmetics, the ones that are building legacy brands, at one point you need to bring on investors. You need to get out of your ego
Yeah.
and right and bring in those people that can help you get to the next level. So that's what we have done, and they're fractional shares. They're not a huge amount, and it's not, but it's given us the fuel to bring this to the world and to really go after these big partnerships like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, like the Grey Cup. And it still gives me rooms still to have a big investor come on board when we need it,
Right.
to take it global. So we have big plans, like big plans, because
Yeah.
being a global brand takes global resources and global strategy. So we're yeah, we're lining up all the dots to make it massive, and to what we're building is bigger than me, and what we're building will live longer than me. So
That's so inspiring. And I just want to touch a bit like on cash flow because I know when
yeah.
you have like products, you're buying, you're creating, it's a lot of
Mhm.
trial and error with like managing cash flow or knowing what to order, when to order. What
Yeah.
was that like whole journey like?
Oh my God, not fun. I am not. When I say I don't do math, I just do
Yeah,
makeup. I need to put that on a shirt. I
you're
can
more
do margin
creative.
math and I can do that, but like it scared me. It was especially when I saw the Victoria struggle.
Yeah.
And I was too in my ego. I wanted that story so much that I put out my personal, like, I strapped my own self out of, like, I tapped out of, I invested everything that I could possibly have except for my house, um, into it. And I'm so grateful there's a program called Rise Up out of Guelph, Ontario, of all places, and it's for female entrepreneurs who hit 250K or more in sales, and it's a funded program. So you get a mentor for 6 weeks, and I had the most amazing mentor, and she worked with me during this, and then at the end of your mentorship, they see where we could help, like where this funding could help, whether it would be strategic cash flow, whether it would be marketing, or I know another female business who built an Amazon shop, like those type of things where this funding will go towards it. And we did a cash flow projection. And that really helped too for me to understand of there's going to be times when you are going to hold debt because it's an inventory based business, and that's okay. Like, I think that other
Right.
thing too is like, it's okay to have that sort of debt when you're building because you need to get that wheel moving. Do you want
Right.
to be in debt? You don't want to be in debt forever. Like, you need to have a plan to get out of it. But
Yeah.
I was embarrassed, I think, of that. And then you see other people who are like, well, yeah, we took out a $350,000 loan of BDC. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not that far. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of makes, I think, talking about that. And as a female, I find it very uncomfortable to talk about money
Yeah.
sometimes. It's like, right. And your value. And yeah, it's taken me a while to get to that point, even to bring on investors and be like, this is our value, this is what we're worth, this is where we're going, this is the trajectory. Either you're in or you're out, right? And it's and holding on to that of being like this and owning it, and instead of having someone coming in who thinks they know better, right? It's just
Right.
interesting. But it took a while. It took a while, and I have to say, like, now with the power of AI, it can help you. It can help you know your numbers. It can help you cash flow. It can help you strategically budget for the next whatever. However, just like a business plan, things happen fast. We never anticipated a Bombers deal. We never anticipated a Grey Cup. That was not in the business plan. That was not in it. So
Yeah.
you can't be like rigid of like, no, we can't do this because this isn't in the plan. You have to let those opportunities come too,
Right.
and figure out a way to make it happen, because those are the opportunities that are life changing. Like the Grey Cup was life changing for us. This Bomber partnership will be life changing for us. So it
Right.
already is. But it's, yeah, yeah, cash flow is something that I probably still struggle with to this day, and that I could get better. I'm
Do you
getting
have
better, working on
do
it.
you have like on your team that handles like the
No,
financial
it's still
department?
me. Well, I do. I
Oh,
know. I should
okay.
say I have a bookkeeper. I have an amazing bookkeeper that has really helped me the last couple of years. She came on board right when I did that Rise program. So she's seen it and she can help. She's like, we can do this. We can, like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I have an amazing accountant. So I do have those people in my lane. But at the end of the day, for budgeting and all that, it comes down to like Jessica Ray and I, and sitting down, and it's just sitting down. We're the creative side. Like, we're the
Right.
creative people, right? So, but there's that. Right, we have to come at it as like a Fortune 500 company and do these things that we don't want to do because it's not fun.
Yeah.
I would
But
rather play with glitter.
like once you have that kind of financial part handled, then it's going to take you so much further.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. And then you don't have that. You're not coming from a place of fear. And I
Right.
think that's what I've learned a lot too, is that, am I coming from a place of strategy or am I coming from a place of fear?
Yeah, totally.
Right. And I like to say that entrepreneurship is the best self-development program you
Mhm.
could ever do.
Yeah, all like your insecurities, things you're not good at, like everything just comes at you.
Every everything, like everything from talking to even understanding your business that you're growing. Even when it's business that you're growing from the ground up, even you don't know what it is until you like build it, right?
Right.
So it's a huge like learning curve.
Yeah, for sure. What's like next for you in like the next 3 to 5 years? I know you had told me a little bit about like you launching something new.
Yeah, so 2026 kicks off. We have a new product dropping. Well, actually, first we have new glitters dropping. They're on our way to us as we speak. They're just stuck in the floods in at the
Wow.
coast. Unfortunately, I know. And then we have a cleansing balm stick that takes your gameplay off. It's not, you don't have to put your finger in. You literally like It's like a little deodorant for your face, and then it's your cleansing balm. And then we've launched with the bombers in 2027. Our goal is to launch with the riders when they host the Grey Cup, and then in the next 3 years, we'll start to look at the US. And then our goal is to be acquired within 10 years, so we can have this legacy live on. So that's our big audacious, not a big audacious. It will happen.
Yeah.
So this. And a lot of people ask me, like, well, why would you want to sell? Wouldn't it ruin the magic? And it would give fuel to the fire. Again, being a global brand takes global strategists and global resources. And I know that I can make it happen. I can still keep the MisMacK magic. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's
That's
exciting.
so inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just love it. Like your story, like you're from a small town, but you have like these big goals, this big vision. You have the momentum, like everything going for you.
Thank you. Thank you. It took a long time to believe in my own power and to
Yeah.
believe in the words that I'm saying and to see the vision without being clouded. And I also have to give a lot to my sobriety with Jessica Ray too. We both went alcohol free. She's just surpassed 500 days. I must be getting
Wow.
close. I lost count, but
Yeah.
that was a game changer too. Instead of numbing the fear with wine or numbing these feelings with wine, we just got super clear and super sober together, and it has been a game changer. My frequency is super high. It's attracting and aligning exactly where we need to be. So that was a huge game changer in building this too.
Wow. That's so inspiring.
Thank you.
What is the best way for our listeners to connect with you or just learn more about your products and like your growth journey and everything that you're doing?
Yeah, so MisMacK, MisMacK.com. You can go and find us, shop there. And then online, MisMacK Cosmetics, MisMacK Clean Cosmetics on Instagram, MisMacK Clean Cosmetics on Facebook, and then I'm Missy Mackintosh, MACK, on all the platforms. So come and follow, join. If you DM MisMacK, you get me. Of course, I will talk to you back. And join the community. And if you want to be an ambassador, like we're going to be launching that early on. So please apply. It has been so fun to work with all these amazing humans. And I can't wait for it to grow nationally. So
Thank you so much, Missy. I'll share all your
thank you.
details in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
If you're a founder who wants real strategy, not noise, and you want someone in your corner helping you build a business that feels aligned, is profitable, and actually supports your life, you can apply for CFO on Call. This is my one-on-one financial partnership for established founders, typically making between $500K to $2 million, who want clarity, who want structure and confidence with their numbers. The link is in the show notes so you can schedule a profit strategy call, or you can DM me CFO on Instagram at Cindy Kumar and I'll send over all the details.